Hello and welcome to Ryno's Orioles Report. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Very bad outcome in the series up in New York against the New York Mets for the Baltimore Orioles. They did win the middle game, game 2 of the series, but game 1 and game 3 allowed the walk-off home run by the Mets. It's like, it took a while, but the team is finally, I think, cracking under the pressure of so many injuries, especially to your bullpen arms or your pitching arms in general, and a few position players who actually, you know what, they're arm injuries too, aren't they? Right? I mean, Westberg's a wrist, and Mateo had his arm folded in the wrong direction. Wow. Yeah, they're like all arm injuries. Holy shit. Except for Rodriguez, I guess, is more of a lat, shoulder lat kind of thing. Weird. And I'll get to some of the decisions by the, we'll just say, Orioles leadership between not the head coach. Football season's almost here, can you tell? The manager, Brandon Hyde, and the general manager, Mike Elias. They're starting to crack under the pressure, making a few bad decisions, or at least one glaring one, in my opinion. But we'll get to that a bit later. Let's get to the games. As you can see, I'm on MASNsports.com. Let's get to game 1. Baltimore Orioles 3, New York Mets 4. This from, it's not Shea Stadium anymore, Citi Field in Flushing, Queens, New York. Austin Slater, because the Mets had 3 lefties lined up, Slater actually got a start in all 3 games and led off. I'll let you decide whether that was a good decision or not. Not necessarily a bad one, I guess. Ofer in the first game, though he did work a walk. Mullins pinch hitting late. Mullins not playing, he's a left-handed hitter, and not hitting that well to begin with. That's why Slater was in there, and Cowser played most of the other time in the other outfield spot, and then Santander. So Mullins pinch hitting late, Ofer in his only plate appearance. Rutschman, Ofer, Henderson, Ofer, though he walked once. Wow. I mean, what is that? That would be 4. Yeah, I mean, 12 plate appearance, 12 at bats, 12 plate appearances because the walks. 12 plate appearances by your 1 through 3 hitters, and you can only get 2 walks. You're not going to win many games like that. You're just not. These guys are hitting first, second, or third because they're supposed to be some of your better hitters, but there they are doing nothing. 0 for 10 with 2 walks. That's terrible. That's awful. Santander, 1 hit. Had to get all the way to the 4th place hitter before you got a hit, and he went 1 for 4. Finally, somebody gets more than 2 hits. Mountcastle with 2 hits and scored once. Jimenez, Ofer. O'Hearn pinch hitting late, Ofer. Cowser, 1 hit. Urias, 2 hits, scored twice and 1 RBI. And Holiday, 1 RBI. Now, it is what it is, I guess. Bad offensive performance. Mountcastle and Urias with doubles, Urias with a home run. Cowser stole a base. Yay. Trevor Rogers got the start in this game. Not having the greatest start to his Orioles career. It's just not. I mean, it's somewhat disappointing, right? Brought this guy in. He thought it would be somewhat of an upgrade to the rotation because getting so injured. But he's really doing no better than Cole Irvin could have done, or Povich. It's like, I mean, you got a few more years of control under him, and he's relatively young, so he can develop in the next year or so. Hope he does it. Pitching 4 2/3 of an inning, gives up 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. It's really the 3 walks that's concerning. Not even 5 innings, and you walk in 3. It's a little too many. Of course, the Oriole pitching only walked 3 the entire game. It was all him. what is his name? Is it Connor or something? What is his first name? Colin. Colin Selby. Let's go back to the thing. Stupid computer. Colin Selby, relatively new to the Orioles organization. Seems to be doing okay. Not great, but not necessarily any worse than, somebody else that's on the roster. Pitching 1 1/3 of an inning, essentially finishing off the 5th inning and pitching the full 6th inning. So if you tandem Rodgers and Selby, it's not that bad of a start. Really not. Selby kind of picked it up there. Again, 1 1/3 of an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Again, if you combine them two guys, it's pretty good. It really is. It's just, where was the offense? Keegan Akin pitching 2 full innings, pitching the 7th and the 8th. No hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Wow, what are we going to do with him for the next week or so? Yeah, there's that. I'll get to that later. Sir Anthony Dominguez on for the 9th inning. Again, this was tied up at this point. So you're on the road, use your closer or the best reliever out of the bullpen you have. Not necessarily your closer, but nobody else is doing good enough to be the closer. Pitching only 1/3 of an inning because he gave up a home run. Gives up 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, 1 strikeout. So he was able to get one out, but then he gives up a home run on a 3-0 count. Well, because you allowed the hitter to get into a hitter's count, and you threw him a fastball. You threw a fastball up in his zone. Of course. Oh well. Kind of serves you right, I guess. Dirty bums. Let's get to game 2. Finally, some good news, right? Baltimore Orioles 9, New York Mets 5. Finally winning a run. The Mets kind of helped them out here in this one. Crazy ass play. Like, what happened? It was a ball hit to left field with, was it 1 on over there, 2 on? It was so weird and so little league of a play. I totally forgot how many people were on. Henderson hits the ball to left field, and because he's in the right batter's box, the left-handed batter's box, ball's tailing away from Nimmo towards foul territory. Nimmo being the Mets left fielder, running over to catch it. It looks like he's kind of there, but then it just tips off his gloves and goes away, allowing the runners to move up there. And then he throws home. Throw goes wide. So the run scores. Was it the catcher or the pitcher? I think it was a pitcher backing up, picks up the ball, throws it to third because there's another runner running the third base. So he throws it, and it goes wide to the third baseman. So that run comes home. So they throw back to, it's like, oh my God. It's like, wow. And then there was the other play where it's like a swinging bunt up the first baseline. The catcher goes for it. The pitcher goes for it. Nobody covers home with the man on base. Kaiser was on second. So he moves up to third base, and then he sees nobody's covering home, and he just goes there. And the catcher, trying to field the ball, misfields it, and the pitcher just kind of standing there looking at it, watching it all happen, and the runner scores. It was like, oh, yeah, well. Sometimes it's nice to see that other teams can play terribly, absolutely terribly, just look like they shouldn't even be on the field. That split second anyway, Look at this. Austin Slater leading off again. Oh my God, there's some hits, right? 2 hits for Austin Slater out of the leadoff spot. Mullins pinch hitting late, also with 2 hits, and he did score a run. Worked out much better this time. Mountcastle hitting second. Not sure how many times we're going to do that. Ofer walked once, scored once. Henderson a hit, an RBI, 2 walks, scores twice. Santander a hit, 2 RBIs, scores once. Jimenez a hit and an RBI. Kaiser 2 hits, scores twice. Arias a hit, an RBI, walked once, scored once. McCann a hit, 3 RBIs, and scored once. Again, man, McCann really is getting better at the plate. He's getting more at-bats. Does help. Later in the year, you want to rest Adley Rutschman more. So he's available for the playoffs, assuming we get there. Assuming a major league team will be healthy enough. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if the whole roster gets injured. Especially getting an arm injury. That seems to be what's going on now. Holiday, bottom of the lineup, over. Okay. Jimenez, Cowser with doubles, Cowser with a triple, McCann and Santander with a home run. McCann actually got booed up there. I guess he was mad. Of course, I guess they were mad because he didn't do anything for them. Of course, he wasn't really there long enough. Mullins with a stolen base, Slater with a caught stealing. Henderson with a fielding error. Disappointing. Did make the game a little closer than it should be, because it did allow an unearned run to score. Dean Kramer got the start in this game. Great performance by Dean Kramer. We really need right now out of a starting pitcher. Going 6 full innings, only gives up 2 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. It's fantastic. We really needed it right now. We need somebody to pitch well as a starting pitcher. Too many guys out now. Right? You got who's on the list? I can't even remember who's on the list because there's so many on the list now. Wells, Means, Bradish done for the year. Rodriguez is on the injured list, and now Zach Eflin is on the injured list. He pitched the whole season, came to the Orioles, pitched a few games, inflamed, was it a shoulder or an elbow? I think it was a shoulder. It's they don't know how to deal with an inflamed shoulder or elbow in the Baltimore Orioles organization. Is it ice? Is it heat? Is it a cold tub? Is it a hot tub? Apparently, they're just not doing it. Or I'm wrong, and it's just the way it goes. I don't remember seeing this many inflamed shoulders or elbows in a baseball season ever. Ciano Perez in relief of Dean Kramer, pitching the full 7th inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Birch Smith coming on in relief of Perez. He's starting the 8th inning. Did not go as planned, partly because of the error by Henderson. Birch Smith only able to get 1 out in the 8th. Gives up 3 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned runs. No walks, no strikeouts. Could have been a little different if Henderson was able to field the ball. Could have been. We don't really know. Brandon Hyde pulls the trigger on Cano to get one of your better, higher leverage relief pitchers in the game and hopefully stop the Mets' comeback. And it worked this time anyway. Pitching 1 full pitch. Gets 3 outs total, finishing off the 8th inning, and then getting 1 out in the 9th inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. With 1 out in the 9th inning, Brandon Hyde thought it was a good idea to get Kimbrel into the game. He does need to get some work. Look, you got to save your bullpen somehow. You can't have Cano throwing, 20 pitches, and then asking him to get even more. He is so heavily used. So you need other guys to throw innings as well. Can't not use Craig Kimbrel. Though we're getting to the point where it's dude, you got to figure out how to get the hell out of this. You got to get out of this funk that you're in. You have to. Would have thought that this performance would have worked. I'll show you next game. Getting the final 2 outs of the 9th inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. That looks great. Why can't we get more of that? Get to game 3, and I'll show you that we did not continue to get that from Kimbrel. Game 3, day game in Queens. Baltimore Orioles 3, Mets 4. New York Mets 4. Slater leading off again. 1 hit, 2 RBIs, scored once. O'Hearn pinch hitting late, over. Struck out. Mullins came in defense replacement because he's faster than O'Hearn. Rutschman over, but does get an RBI. Henderson 1 hit. Again, there you go. From Rutschman and Henderson. Excuse me. Your 2, what's the word? Not necessarily superstars, but let's say franchise players. Are they getting tired? Are they young and just not used to a whole 162 games? Because it has to be 162 games. which I think we're getting to a point where it's almost too long. It really is. Not that we haven't been saying that many years now, especially now that they want to increase the number of playoff games. Kind of got to decrease the number of regular season games. You really do. I mean, you got Rutschman and Henderson here, and you get 4 plate appearances and you only get 1 hit. That's not going to win too many games with that happening. Santander, over. Going to win too many games where that happens as well. Mountcastle, over. Jimenez, over. Wow. 1 through 6. 2 hits. And not to be outdone, 7 through 9, 1 hit. Kaiser, a hit and a run scored. Arias, over, though he did walk once. Holiday, over, walked once, scored once. 3 hits total. 3 hits. Well, Manaea went... is it Sean Manaea? Yeah, Sean Manaea, I think. Well, let me click on it and get his first name. Yes, Sean Manaea. Almost got through the Orioles lineup twice with a perfect game intact. Yes, a perfect game intact. I mean, he's a good pitcher now. I don't think he's that good, but that's just an opinion, I guess. Until he hit Holiday. And then Slater hit a home run. So, yeah, I mean... You got to do better. You got to have better at-bats. Slater's home run, only extra base hit. Henderson stole a base. Yay. Cole Irvin gets a start in this game. Today was, not today. Yesterday, that was supposed to be Zach Eflin's day, but injured list. Pitched 4 1/3 inning. It's not terrible. I mean, he only threw 83 pitches. Why he didn't finish off the inning, I don't really know, but I mean, he did fine for only throwing 83 pitches. I would have liked to seen him go the full 5, but it's... I mean, especially because of what happened with the rest of the bullpen. Though, you're kind of running out of arms and you just sent one away. It's like, well, what? Again, I'll get to that a little later. Cole Irvin going 4 1/3 inning. Gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Not the greatest line at all, but you know what? It's... Considering where we're at with the starting pitching here, you're going to take that any day of the week. You would take that any day of the week. Colin Selby finish again like he did with Rogers, finishing off Rogers' inning and then pitching 1 full inning himself for a total of 6 innings. I mean, it's a fantastic first 6 innings pitched for the Baltimore Orioles. It's just, where's your offense? You got to score a little bit more than that. You have to. So Colin Selby finishing off the 5th inning and then pitching the 6th inning for a total of 1 2/3 innings pitched. No hits, no runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. But you'll take it. Now here we go. 7th inning. Thought maybe Kimbrel turning it around a little bit. Though at the same time, pitching in back-to-back games and a day game after a night game, not as much time off, for that arm to recover. Maybe led to it. Maybe. It's possible. I don't know, because it is kind of, what's the word? It's not done a lot, because there aren't that many day games after a night games. There are some, yes. But at the same time, you almost never see a catcher do a day game after a night game. You almost never see that. Because it is different. You do need some time to recover. Your muscles need to recover to a certain extent. Did he have enough time to recover? I don't know. He does pitch the full 7th inning. Gives up 1 hit, 1 run. No walks and a strikeout. Home run to Vientos. Vientos' 20th home run. So, it's not like he's some scrub that can't hit a home run. So again, is this Kimbrel being bad and it's his fault, or is it Hyde's fault for doing this? It's a little bit Brandon Hyde's fault, a little bit Michael Elias' fault, and a little bit Craig Kimbrel's fault for not getting using that thing between your ears for something other than holding up your face. I think it's all mental. I don't think it's physical. I think it's mental with Kimbrel. I really do. Perez starting out the 8th inning, pitching, getting only 2 outs. Gives up a hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Again, Sir Anthony Dominguez on to try to get out of this 9th inning. What the hell happened? No, he got out of the 8th inning, and this was a leadoff in the 9th inning. Yes. Yes. He only faced 1 batter. He came in for 1 batter in the 8th inning. Very hard to remember sometimes. So Perez not being able to finish off the 8th inning, Dominguez comes in and does get the out, gets a strikeout there. And then coming out for the 9th inning, trying to get a 4-out save. Or it wouldn't even be a save. It would just be to get to the 10th inning tied. Asking a lot out of him. Really are. But at the same time, stop getting into hitters' counts. Stop giving up home runs. It's one thing to give up a base hit. It's another thing to give up a home run. But you gave up a home run. Okay. Gives up the home run in the 9th inning to Mr. Winker. Pinch hitting. Barely time to get his feet wet with his new team, and he's already thrown in a closer role. Elevated in role. Wow. I mean, okay. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he's a fairly good pitcher. It's just whether he's good enough to be the closer or not is it's a matter of opinion, I guess. All right, let's get to some articles, and we'll talk about some of these injuries and roster moves that I'm calling into question. This article written by Rock Kabako. Eflin goes on the injured list with an inflamed shoulder? Yeah. Inflamed shoulder. And then Keegan Aiken to the paternity list. You hate it. I mean, you hate the timing of it, really. Not only is it, the last part of the season, but then there's so many injuries, How many starters out for the season now? How many starters out for 2-3 weeks? How many bullpen arms are you out? And you don't want to tell the guy that he can't go see his kid born. But at the same time, man, can y'all plan a little better? We are paying you good money to play baseball. Could y'all plan pregnancies out a little better, please? Asking. Not ordering or demanding. Just asking. I mean, think about it. If this is 3 months ago, it feels different. Because you're not in, the final playoff push stretch of the season, the last month and a half. It's bad timing is all it is. So, K. Povich recalled and Dylan Tate recalled to replace the guys. Now, K. Povich isn't going to pitch until Friday. Why you brought Povich up now at this point, I don't know. Because for Wednesday's game, Zach Eflin's scheduled start day, you recall Irvin and then send Tate away. I'm sorry, what? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. Why not, just a thought here, this group of moves, you bring up Irvin to replace Eflin, because Irvin could pitch Wednesday, and Povich, didn't pitch Wednesday. Assuming because he couldn't, he didn't have enough rest days. And then Dylan Tate in for Aiken, so you're not losing a body out there in the bullpen. You lost a body out here in the bullpen for Wednesday's game because you made your roster moves like a dumbass. That's how I see it. I don't know what reason you had. Right? I mean, I don't understand that. You could have at least called up Irvin instead of Povich so you could use Tate for a few games there. And then when you want Povich up here for his rotation spot, then you can make the move. Spoiler alert, they have made more moves in which they could have gotten Cade Povich up here and kept Tate if they wanted to. But you could have used another arm out there in the bullpen. Don't tell me you couldn't have used another arm out there in the bullpen. Don't tell me. For Tuesday and Wednesday's game, you could have absolutely used another arm out there in the bullpen. But you decided to handcuff yourself. Because, well, because. Flurry of moves today. You see this article also written by Rock Kubatko. Vespi rejoining. Emmanuel Rivera, somebody they just claimed an infielder. And who's the other guy? Matt Bowman, another right-handed pitcher. And who'd you send away? You sent away Colin Selby. You sent away Levon Soto. And you sent away Trevor Rogers. So it looks like Irvin's staying to stay in the rotation. Povich is staying to stay in the rotation. And then you're still going to have Kramer and Burns and Suarez. Again. You could have kept Tate and used him. And then for this set of moves here, because you made the moves anyway, now you bring Povich back up. Again, hindsight versus hindsight. Or Elias sight. Whichever. But in my opinion, it's just a dumb move. This is the move that just doesn't make sense to me. It's Tuesday. With Eklund going on the injured list, you need a starter for Wednesday. So you bring up Povich. Can Povich pitch Wednesday? No, he's scheduled to pitch Friday now. Oh, okay. Okay. Why the hell did you bring up Povich so soon? Like, why? Okay. Alright, enough ranting and complaining and telling them they're all stupid. Let's wrap this up and get out of here. Today's Thursday, no off day for the Orioles, starting a 4-game series against the Houston Astros in Camden Yards. Yep, real quick road trip up to New York, taking the train up there and taking the train right back to play Houston for 4 games, or play the Astros for 4 games. We're in Baltimore. Thursday's game scheduled for 7:08. Friday's game scheduled for 7:05. Saturday's game scheduled for 4:05. Sunday's game scheduled for 7:10. A few of these are going to be in primetime games. I think ESPN has the Sunday game, and Fox might have tonight's game. I don't know. Of course, they didn't put it on the schedule here. Probably because they didn't know. A little bit of flex time because, it's getting late in the year. That's why some of the weird start times. And then you see they will have an off day Monday before they go out and play the Dodgers and then the Rockies. So that's an interesting road trip. Not a road trip you see happen a lot. It's not for an East Coast team like us. So while that will do it for this edition of Ryno's Orioles Report, please stay tuned for Monday, and I will go over the series between the Baltimore Orioles and the Houston Astros. So please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Ryno, and this is Birdland.